Yeah.
What's going on, guys? It's Dealer here, back again with yet another RDX. We've been really lucky here. A lot of E3 stuff keeps kind of slipping out every single month. And hang on a second, I got my fucking things playing in my ears. Okay, yeah, we've been really lucky here lately. We got a lot of E3 stuff that tends to keep hitting every single week. And we're going to talk about that. Developer talking about the next Xbox, PlayStation, and so much more. We got a fantastic list of topics, a great panel. And I'm going to get into some intros, get into some shout outs, let some people file in. Thank you guys for joining us early. You guys are awesome. Tim Dog, thanks for joining us again, brother. What's going on?
Happy to be here. Thanks a lot. Got my Yeti going and ready to go. Great panel, great people. Top podcast for Xbox going right now. Happy to be here.
It's right now, like it's going to change.
Well, just happy to be here, and it's a pleasure to be amongst the people on the panel.
Fantastic. We love having you here, man. The people, the chat loves having you here as well. Shout out to the chat. We do have well over 100 people already here. Cold Eastwood, what's going on, brother?
I'm back after a triple bypass satchel surgery, and good to be here. Or whatever you told people. I don't know. You told people I had a rash. Whatever it is. The time
Did you get off the seesaw? Did you get off the seesaw? Okay.
You and Fonz were at the playground, and Fonz said you got stuck up there. I don't know. So, Fonz, really, how you been, brother?
I'm doing good. And you know what? It's good to be on a show that's about to die tomorrow, apparently.
Die tomorrow?
Right.
Huh.
Jim Dog said it's a great show for now, you know.
Oh, yeah. Tim Dog.
I live in the present, my friend.
I was about to say, I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah. Tim Dog's the Oracle.
Tim Dog is the article. Hey, Zalker, how you been, brother?
Doing all right, man. I'm excited to be here today. I mean, we have some pretty awesome topics, and we got some awesome people in here. Tim Dog's back. I'm excited, man. I want to talk about all this stuff, especially that amazing Days Gone. I can't wait.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to Wilmy Hood. We got Obi-Wan. We got Fuzzy Belvedere, FC Violent. We got Spanky Spook. Oh, yes, Spanky Spronkle. I love it. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're here early, hit that like button. We do appreciate it. We got D-Batch as well, the man with the dreads. How you been? You don't got dreads. I'm just kidding.
I do got dreads.
You do? Oh man. Okay. Well, thanks. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. To be honest, you guys, I'm on a real high after seeing Avengers last night. Such a satisfying movie. I feel good. Let's go, man.
Yeah. Hulk fans need not watch. Just so you guys know. But we're not going to get into spoilers or any of that stuff. I do want to get into the patron shout outs, and we got a lot of new ones coming next week when the new round of patrons are kind of inserted into things. But this week we have the old faithful Captain Redbeard, Lethal Papa, Darius Knight, Prime Suspect, Michael Bowen, Channing Pennington, Guillermo Cavillo, Robert Prather, and Biggie 2316, as well as I'll go ahead and give him a shout out to Wilm Hood. I hope I got that correct, actually. Yeah, he's actually going to be I'm going to start getting him shout outs as well. The guys that really go that extra mile, you know, everyone here goes the extra mile in my opinion, but you know what I'm saying. I got to give these guys a little bit of praise. You guys are absolutely fantastic. A lot of new patrons in the lineup next show. Also, Mortal Kombat 11, the $100 edition of the game, up to be added to the long list of giveaway games on Patreon. So check that site here soon. I'll have that up. Let's get into it. Days Gone finally out. We all predicted the Metacritic. We were all terribly wrong, or at least most of us. Bonzarelli, what's your reaction to the 72 meta by 89 critics as of right now?
You know, when I chose the game to be at a 78, I was being pretty generous with my own thoughts on the game, because for months now I've been saying this game looks soulless. It doesn't really feel like it's
soulless.
Game. Yeah, and apparently I was right. You know, that's what a lot of people have, been basically describing it as. Like, they're not getting into the character. They're not getting into this open world that seems lifeless or soulless, if you will. And it's just, I haven't played it myself, but I don't think I'm going to. Even on a sale, I was thinking maybe I'll pick it up on a sale. But the more I've watched people play this game, I've watched a lot of gameplay and seen a lot of bad things, in my opinion, where I'm just going to stay away, man. It's not for me.
You know what? I'm going to withhold my opinion because I got a pretty big video coming tomorrow about it, and I might change your mind. Honestly, Randolph Thor says, real deal Xbox frauds. Appreciate it, especially from King Fraud himself, the man with a million frauderies. I mean, I predicted I was going to give it a benefit of the doubt and say 81, but it's at almost 10 points lower. I mean, we kind of went through this with Crackdown as well. I mean, should it really waver, your desire to play the game just because it's a little lower than where you thought? Colt Eastwood?
No.
Zucker, anybody?
No.
I got it, yeah. No, I don't think it should. I don't think it should at all. I think people, if you want to play it and it's something that you would like, I would recommend you play it. I will say, do not look at any of the advertisement because it's completely falsely advertised. You're not running around shooting shit ton of zombies with one bullet like in World War Z. You're conserving your ammo. It takes about 75 bullets to kill one person, unless you get a lucky headshot.
All right, and just stop. Just stop.
Oh, no, that's what it is, bro.
No, it's not. No, it's not. As a guy who's got like fucking 30, 40 hours in this bitch already.
I got 20, 25.
That's less than me, bitch. And what I'm telling you,
what it is.
What I'm telling you is right now I'm able to mow down packs of zombies. I got big ass machine guns. I got tons of ammo. I don't want to hear none of that.
You like it, sauce, don't you?
How long did it take you?
Now the problem is, Doc, you didn't inject enough sauce into your veins. Your character's a little bitch, running around a little weak ass bitch.
I've got every single little stim pack thing that it has. My stamina's fine. I'm fine outrunning them. I have all that shit. All that shit doesn't matter. It looks nothing like they advertised in 2016 and 2017 at all.
I don't know. I've got a lot of great footage that says otherwise.
Did it take you 25 hours to get there?
Hey,
it did take me. It does take too long to get to certain things in this game. But that's besides the point.
From all the gameplay I've watched, I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of running away.
Fonz, what would you score? It's a horde of zombies. What do you expect?
Fonz, what score would you get after watching it on YouTube?
Hey, you know what I would give it a 72. That's what
my gosh.
If I can add to this, I've been playing all weekend. Honestly, tell you, I'm hooked to the game. I'll just go really quick through the pros and the cons. Now, let's go for the cons first. I think the controls are a little bit clunky. I can see where Zocker is talking about a little bit false advertised. The game is not as fast paced as they made it out to be, but there are some fast paced moments, especially when the hordes are coming at you. But this is basically a zombie survival game. I didn't really encounter any glitches. The only glitch that I did encounter was the lip syncing bug. I think Colt had that as well, where they would talk and like 3 seconds later, like it was just off sync.
It's off track, yeah.
Yeah, and then I basically did an update, and then that problem never came back, and I didn't have any issues with the games. Now it looks beautiful. It has some of the best HDR I've ever seen in a game.
Really?
The animations.
All that.
I think Sea of Thieves crushes it with HDR.
Yeah, well, I said some of the best, not the best, but it's very good HDR in that game, undeniable, especially on my OLED. It's just phenomenal. The contrast between light and dark, and it's very realistic HDR. Like if you really look closely at the sunlight, the moonlight, like the shadows that are the
colors and lights are nice.
Yeah, everything. It's just the HDR is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic when you're standing still. But if you're moving on your bike, the frame rates drop to 15, and then there's texture pop-ins coming every 10 seconds. It's like, what the hell's happening?
Hey, don't take it personally, D or Days Gone. If you're listening, Days Gone. I mean, Zocker is one of the corpses that I murdered in my last play session.
I didn't get any frame rate issues though. I did see the streaming issue where I can see some stuff popping and streaming in, but for the most part, I have to be honest, the frame rate was solid. Honestly, I think the game is a solid 8. I think I give it an 80 or an 8 out of 10 or whatever. I'm really, really enjoying the game. It's my type of game, but at the same time, I can see how some people wouldn't like it because it really at its core is a survival zombie RPG kind of game,
Yeah, I can hear you smacking the shit out of your desk. I believe every word you're saying. So Tim Dog, I want to know what your thoughts are. Did you think it would come in this low, this hot? What's going on?
Well, I got to say that last week when we did it, I thought that we were pretty fair because we came in pretty low. I mean, we had Fonz and me at 78, guys like you were like at 80, and we also prefaced we told everyone basically be ready that this is not going to be on the Spider-Man level. Now, a lot of other people had this at 85. Some people had it at 90. Yeah, that was the consensus. We were actually came in lower, so I have to say that I think that we were pretty fair last week. And what I was surprised was that it just tanked to 72. I wouldn't have thought that. I thought that it would be in the 75 area. Obviously, the game has bugs and it has issues. It seems like a game that it's polarizing a little. Like you like it a lot, and Soccer actually hates it. And well,
I mean, it's got issues. It's got issues.
I mean, I don't hate the damn
but
game.
it is polarizing because I hear people like that just do not like the game. That said, there's too many things with it. The 72, I think, is kind of fair. I hope that it wasn't. I mean, I see the stupid political stuff, and I don't want to get into it. But that has no.
I think that he's talking about some chick that was mad because
there was a couple.
She doesn't focus on how the guy's extremely loyal or how all the stuff that he's very respectful. She doesn't focus on any of that stuff. It's just all about the negative, right?
I've been dying to say something on that topic real quick, not to cut you off, Tim, but she's really full of it. I was saying earlier in the day to somebody else that I'm tired of this fake woke stuff, and what she's alluding to is actually explained in the game why they're like that. And if you play the game, there's a completely reasonable explanation, and they're freaking zombies. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna give her any other attention, but it's bullshit what she's saying.
In either case, to give a shout out to our already 450 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Maybe share this where you share some things. There's some great discussions. Let's try to get the 300 for the end of the show. 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. Days Gone, mixed results, reactions. Colt Eastwood just dropped a review today. Check that out. I'm dropping mine probably tomorrow, and I'm gonna have a ton of stuff to say in that review. Zucker's dropping his tomorrow. Be sure and downrate that one. And I want to go ahead.
I mean, you want to be the only one.
Hold on, I wanted to say something.
Dislike squad, mount up.
I wanted to say something that I meant to put in my review. I didn't really convey it well enough, but I really honestly feel like Days Gone is right smack in the middle between State of Decay 2 and The Last of Us. Like,
really?
I really, really feel like it is. It does like the survival stuff some of the stuff better than State of Decay 2 as far as animations and visuals and stuff like, and the gun combat's a little bit better. But it tells this really great story, but not as well as The Last of Us. But it actually tells a really good story. Deacon is actually a really likable character. I don't know where people are getting this. He's actually pretty cool. And some of the moments are actually pretty good.
He's fucking weird. He's like weird. He's like walking around. He's like, "Yeah, you feel that? Huh? You like that freaking little shit?
I like
what
that.
the hell is happening?"
He does sound weird.
Videos. No, I like it. I think
weird.
It's immersive. He's talking. It's not just this silent, no-name character like in State of Decay. It's actually, and so I mean, take that how you will. What's State of Decay on Xbox is 66, and The Last of Us is like a 95 or something, and put that right in the middle. And what score do you get? Like a mid-70? No, I think Days Gone is exactly right there.
It's subjective, but at the same time, like everything I've heard from come out.
You like that little bitch?
He does not sound, or it doesn't feel like a likable protagonist, man. A lot of people are complaining about that.
Well, the biggest problem. Play the game before you make up your mind. Hey, Colt, do you want to read off Underachiever Super Chat real quick while I move the topics here along?
Yeah, he said, I think the score is a bit of a reality check for some of the Sony fanboys, but in typical fanboy fashion, contrary to their behavior with Microsoft games, suddenly scores don't matter, only the fun factor. And it's an awesome comment from Underachiever, because I did a video right after Crackdown got its low score. Far Cry New Dawn got a really low score. Jump Force got a really low score. Anthem got a really low score.
Redefine low score, because a 70-something is not a low score, technically.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, but Sony fans are used to seeing somewhere around 80 and higher. So 72 is really low for them. And I was trying to drive home a video where I tried to say a Metascore is not the be-all, end-all. It's definitely not your bragging rights. A game is comprised of many different things. What your friends think, what you're used to liking, what you enjoy, and all that crap. Yeah. So
Tim, you saw how people crushed Crackdown 3, reviews, and then have the same people kind of switch with Days Gone for better or for worse. I mean, you want to kind of wrap this all up, this Days Gone portion here, with kind of your thoughts on that and hypocrisy there?
A ton of hypocrisy. I think Underachiever nailed it. Even 77 was supposedly a big joke with Quantum Break. I remember that when Quantum Break got a 77. Supposedly,
it was trash, right?
it was trash and everyone trashed it.
They forgot that Killzone was at like a low 70 and Drive Club was at the low 70 and Order was in the 60s and Knack was in the 50s, and they forgot about all of this stuff, right?
Yeah. I think it was a reality check in a way. I think if you told the same people that were bragging the day before that we get a 72, they'd laugh you off wherever you were talking to them. But it was a reality check, and it just goes to show you, either on both sides, you really shouldn't mock each other. When a game doesn't do as well as you want it to, especially when developers are working hard to try to make the game. They want to have 90s and they want to be in that stratosphere, but it's not easy. What Sony did in the last 2 years was pretty remarkable. To get the games that they had and hit close to 90s or over 90 and 88 and all the games that they had. That's an anomaly. That doesn't happen. So this is more the norm. But it shouldn't affect your enjoyment. You look at a game like Dying Light has a 74 Metacritic, and it's one of the best zombie games this gen by far.
Yeah, Robert Cummings, big shout out to you, brother. Thank you so much for the 20 and the super chat. You guys are awesome. What does Phil mean here? Maybe I'm a little bit behind, but he literally just tweeted out, "Congrats to the X Cloud team for completing their take-home release." What does that mean, Tim? Maybe I'm missing out on something.
I think that means that, when Phil says he's playing on xCloud, well, he's actually playing he has his personal server for the xCloud, and what I think that means is that now the team is in his position. That not only is he the one with take-home ability, is that now everyone, I guess,
through Xbox kind of use it from actual server.
Right now, they're kind of leveraging up. I would be. I'm 99% sure that at E3, we might be playing xCloud. Whether that's people at E3 or out of E3, I don't know, but it's going to be playable. So we're finally going to get to the point where we're testing this thing. But yeah, it's getting closer to release, and that's a very good sign because I remember 2 months back, I actually was playing with Phil, and he was playing Warhammer on xCloud.
And as Zucker pointed out a few weeks ago, he talked about playing Destiny 2 on xCloud, which is not in Game Pass. So we know it's not limited to a service like Game Pass as of right now.
Right. I think it's everything, to be honest. My take is it's everything, anything that you own. I guess we'll find out shortly. But my point was that he wasn't. I had asked him in the chat. I said, you're really messing around. And he said it's not there yet. So that was 2 months ago. So it looks like they're getting very close, and I think that the beta is going to be at E3. I think people will actually be able to test this themselves.
I agree. Hey, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Shout out to 600 people watching us live, guys. Once more, hit that like button if you're just tuning in. We're just wrapping up our Days Gone discussion. Some good stuff coming out tomorrow for that. Xbox Game Pass for May 2019. Wolfenstein 2 coming out on the 2nd, Colt Eastwood. That's big. That's a good game.
That's a really good game. I feel like not everybody played that. So
yeah, why not? What's wrong with people?
I don't know. It not even a month after it released, it went on sale for $32 instead of $60.
I think that was Black Friday though, right? Big Thanksgiving or fall sale on the Xbox.
I mean, it went to Battlefront 2 price, which kind of bummed me out. Yeah. Awesome. Really good game. So no excuses. Go play it.
Yeah, if you missed Wolfenstein 2, please check it out. It's going to be in Game Pass. It might be there now. I don't know.
I was going to say another reason why I say that all the time is I've used a couple of clips of BJ like dual wielding, shooting down a corridor, and someone's like, "What's that game with the guy holding two guns?" I'm like, I slap myself.
That's Halo 2.
I hear it all the time on my videos. What's that one game with the guy with the two guns? I'm like, it's Wolfenstein New Colossus. Where have you guys been?
What's that game at 3:42? That looks so amazing. It's Halo 5. Oh, that's trash.
I get that too. I do it. Another big game is, kind of big game. It's The Surge, which you may have skipped on. I want to give it a shot. It's got a 60 frame mode.
Well, Wolf 2 coming out in the 2nd. We got War Groove coming out in the 2nd. We've got Surviving Mars. I actually just bought that coming out in the 9th. Tacoma coming out in the 9th. You've also got Black Desert, Don't Play It edition coming out in the 9th. You got For the King coming out in the 10th. You got The Surge coming out in the 16th. You got Lego Batman coming out on the 16th as well. Those are your new games for Game Pass this month. Any kind of thoughts? I mean, I don't know. Wolf 2 is a standout. Maybe Surviving Mars. Do you like that kind of strategy type stuff?
The Surge wasn't bad when it came out too. A lot of people.
It does have a 60 FPS mode in the X, which is a big deal. But I mean, like Valkyrie, I mean, looking at these, is this kind of, I don't know, is it meh, or does Wolfenstein 2 kind of make that up for you?
I think it makes it up a lot. I think it's one of the best months they've brought out, next to like December and January when they were bringing out all these kinds of games. But Wolf 2 is like, I just actually started it, right? And it's freaking amazing. Like the graphics are amazing. Everything's just, it's just such a good game, and it takes turns. Like you're just like, this is fucking intense.
Jabril says Surge is trash.
No, trash.
But
I think it's good. I think it's good. And honestly, the Game Pass thing I liked about it, and I know it's kind of dumb, but me and Colt like it, is they were giving hints again on the Xbox Game Pass Twitter.
Yeah.
They've been giving hints for a little bit. I don't know if anybody remembers, about like a couple weeks ago, I was like, I think Wolfenstein 2 is coming soon.
You did.
Like either this month or next month.
What was the hint?
They kept bringing up like
just
they were blurring out.
Coming.
They were bringing out like long hints with like blacked out redacted things, and I'm like, is that the guy's name, Blazkowicz, whatever? Like his whole entire name, like it fits perfectly. And that's what I was like, is that his name? What's his real name? And then I forgot about it. And then people were like, oh, it was his name. And I was like, I knew it, you son of a bitches. And plus they've had a good relationship with Bethesda. So
I'm noticing that a lot of people in the chat are like me, and I saw that list, and what spoke out to me was Black Desert Online, because that's the MMO that they brought on board, Xbox console exclusive anyway. And it's something that I was looking forward to playing. I just didn't want to spend the $40 on it because I'm a cheap bastard. Now that it's in Game Pass, I'm definitely going to try it. And I see a lot of people in the chat saying the same thing.
It was $10 or something when it, wasn't it? I think I bought it.
Not long ago, yeah.
Yeah, I got it for 10, and then I played it for a little bit. I'm like, oh, geez.
Hey, Gamebread says, all of you guys are badasses, all very energetic and engaging. Love the podcast, the aura around it. Thank you very much, Gamebread. We do appreciate it. We try to, we try to eat a little bit of candy for the show. Don't tell nobody.
Yeah. Coffee, as Dealer told me, drink some coffee.
Hey, I think you already sound like you're a little more awake this week, Tim. Game Pass, is this what you expected, or what are you hoping for in the future, maybe?
I think Game Pass is excellent. Well, I finished Wolfenstein 2. It's one of the best games I've played this generation. A lot of ups and downs with the story. Mm-hmm. I highly recommend it. The one thing that I would say that this does point out is that games for gold is really lacking in this area, and I think that any kind of like release that they get their hands on, it's going straight to Games Pass. So,
well, Codemasters said that they just said this is the first half of the month. The next half isn't even announced yet. I didn't know that. Anybody else know that? I mean, why didn't anybody say anything? What's going on?
Well,
everybody's behind.
I don't know. They kind of do that. They bring out more games. They tend to bring out more games towards the end of the month. They don't stop with Game Pass. It makes sense. Man. You don't want to keep releasing them. Maybe, somebody's cutoff date for their payments, maybe on the 9th, but on the 15th, something cool is coming out. Like, that's how you do it. That's how Netflix does it. Thanks, Comasters. We do appreciate it. Yeah, more to come. Hopefully there's some really good stuff here. Mr. Keena, the chat keeps moving. Mr. Kima says Evil Within 2. You think that's going to come soon, huh? Hopefully so. It's a quality game. I haven't quite beat it yet, but in either case, that's games for gold, or games with Game Pass for the month of May. Look forward to that, or at least the first half. Fonzarelli, what's going on with this whole cable debacle you've been telling us about? This is a last minute addition because Fonz brought it up, and we thought maybe you as gamers would want to know about this. Keep an eye for this. Go ahead and let them know.
So basically, I read an article coming from The Verge yesterday, and it just popped up. I was looking for gaming news, okay? And it's talking about Cox Cable. Cox Cable, they give you internet and cable services, and they have this package that they're doing a soft launch with now, basically saying that they can, for $15 extra added to your bill, they can make it so that gamers, whatever platform you're on, can have a direct path to that game's servers, and basically giving you a more lag-free experience, a better online experience. And it talks in this article about how some Reddit users were debating whether or not they could do this and stuff, and that's all it really talked about. But I was thinking more nefarious things going on here. Now, let's say that this does indeed work, and people start paying this $15 a month, and they're getting a decent experience, a good experience. But what about those that don't want to pay that $15 a month? Are they going to start throttling them or start giving them an indirect path to the to their server, to that game servers, and then making it a worse experience? So you'll be forced into paying that extra $15. That is the heads up I'm trying to give people. This, of course, being one of the problems that stems from not having net neutrality in place. And I made a video on this, and you guys, if you go to that after the show, of course, there's links in my description that show you how you can help fight, get net neutrality back. And really, it's an important cause. I think it's really, really important for gamers to understand that it's not only gamers, it's anybody who uses the internet. They could do this to Netflix, etc.
Basically give them an inch, they take a mile. And this could be the first way that they start kind of separating gamers and charging gamers. And even though people that watch a ton of Netflix use way more bandwidth, I would say.
And here's the problem, dealer. I've already got some people on Twitter arguing with me saying I'm worrying about nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute, you don't understand how these companies work. If they can find a way to nickel and dime you, they're going to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
And Comcast has already throttled my streaming, not Netflix, but other streaming services I have already been throttled. And people don't think that they can do this with gaming.
You had to change your VPN or whatever just to get them to stop buffering your stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I had
buffering
to
your
pay
stuff.
For a VPN. Yeah, I had to pay for a VPN just to
Stuff
get
buffer.
around it. So, I mean, it's the new world we're living in online, and people have to understand these companies don't give a fuck about you. So, I mean, you got to watch out and look. I saw this article, nobody's talking about it, and I'm like, geez, why not? This is huge.
LG Nemesis in the chat said, "I have Spectrum, so I'm good." I know of people who have Spectrum in different parts of the U.S. who are on limited internet. I'm not. I'm on Spectrum. It's like you never know. Gosh, enjoy it while you have it. Really.
Hey, so Peter Young in the chat says Fonz is starting to sound like a communist. Communist. No, I'm looking out for you guys, the consumer, man. Come on.
I think that you bring up
Fonz isn't starting to sound like a communist. He is a communist. Jeez. Nah, but let's not take it there. He's just letting people know. Some people care, some people don't. So.
Well, it's an important topic though, because he's right. Once one company starts it and they see they can get away with it, and if gamers or users are complacent about it, these companies are just gonna keep doing it.
I mean, all you got to do is put two and two together, D. If they can find a direct path to that gaming server, they can find you an indirect path too if you don't pay the money.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not rocket science. I don't know why people think it's conspiracy theory stuff. This is real. It's happening.
Well, hey, check Fonz's video after the show. Maybe read the source. I have to look into it more. I don't know if that they're like sending your data through the right ports automatically somehow, or what they're doing there. But either way, $15 a month for that is ridiculous. You could probably do it yourself if it's something that simple. And at the end of the day, we got to move forward. Zalker, today's a magic day for you. See if Thieves massive update hit today. Quickly, kind of let everyone know once more what exactly this update is bringing really quickly, and have you tried it yet?
I'm going to take my time with this, sir. All right. So first of all, no, the arena comes today. The story mode comes today. Tall Tales. The fishing comes today. So everything basically is coming. You check it out. People are freaking playing it like crazy. It's jumped up into like the most played.
Quickly, please.
Yeah, quickly, please. It's pretty awesome. Voice acting and the stories, a lot of cool stuff. I'm jumping into it maybe tonight, most likely tomorrow. I've been busy. So, yeah, I can't wait to jump in this thing and check it out. It's going to take hours, apparently, 10 to 15 hours to do the Tall Tales. I don't know. That's what they said before it came out. I don't know if that's changed. But, I'm looking forward to it.
Ashtray says, I'm playing Sea of Thieves right now. Let us know how the update is, brother. We've also got... this chat is crazy. I'll read that in a second, actually. Tim Dog, we've got some information. Xbox hardware slips 33% as subscriptions and game sales rise. Hardware down 33% from last year. Game sales up 5%. That's kind of funny. And Xbox Live up 7%. Now, what is your thought? Microsoft recently coming out their most profitable year of all time in the gaming division. Is Xbox died?
No, Xbox hasn't died. What I think it shows you is that the services is really starting to bolster up, and this is going to be an upward trend. For them to be down 33% because you're getting cheaper consoles, selling them for cheaper on sales. Obviously, they have sales all over the place. 3% down in hardware and then be up overall is pretty impressive for the fact that
usually there's a correlation, right?
Right, yeah, but it just showing that the services like Game Pass and Xbox Live, they're all growing, and this is what they keep talking about. This is why they kind of feel that the console, they want to have a console experience, a native experience, but really what this is all going to is the services end of it, and they're looking to keep growing that, and it looks like it's growing really. It's starting to grow real fast, especially if you're down that much on hardware and it's still up. That's I know for a fact that they were impressed with that internally.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. The most profitable year of all time recently, and they had almost no software, which is the thing that makes them money, right? So these subscription services, they're all acting as a buffer. When you stack new games on top of that, it's going to be insane. They're going to be able to take more risks. They're going to be able to do all kinds of stuff. And at the end of the day, if they're making a little bit of money, then that's probably going to mean that they've shown it, as a matter of fact, that they're investing that the right way. They've doubled their studios. We got some more stuff coming out about that. They're putting more money in games than ever. They're giving us games like Wolfenstein 2 and Game Pass. I mean, they're doing a lot of stuff with that revenue. So it'll be very interesting. Eli Chun says, what do you guys think about Metro, one of the few story games I beat? I enjoyed it, man. I know Colt did as well. The game looks insane. I'm trying to convince people how good this game looks, and it's like nobody that played it actually believes me or people that have, but it's the best looking game I've ever seen on any system ever.
Yeah, I'm on the last couple hours, and I had to shelve it to play Days Gone. I'm looking forward to going back to it. The weird thing, I'm kind of a weird person to talk about this game because the first hour I couldn't stand it. I almost just said, "Oh man, I took a $60 L." And Brandon Dealer talked me into playing it, and come on, stick with it, and
just get past the very beginning. What?
Yeah, so literally 15 minutes beyond that part where I'd given up, I was like, oh, yeah, it's great. It's a great game. And it looks awesome.
You didn't like the first open part of the snow, right? I like the linear beginning. I like the beginning of the story.
Oh yeah. I was in the first open part with empty warehouses and going around in the boat, rowing around, whatever. But yeah, it's great. You got to play it.
Greg E3 Egg, no problem, brother. People are always coming in and leaving and joining and leaving and joining. And hey, what's important is you guys hit that like button. We do appreciate it. Also, last week I had a mixer issue. It makes me sound like I just came from the dentist, basically, is what it makes me sound like. So I did bump that, and hopefully it doesn't sound like this show. I can't hear it live, really, so hopefully it doesn't sound messed up or anything. But at the end of the day, Tim says that Microsoft were happy with their increase in gaming revenue. Their subscription and gaming were up, even though hardware was down. Hardware was down, D-Batch, due to think about it. What are your thoughts here? I mean, the X came out a few years ago. The S is kind of 2016. What do you think?
Yeah, I think all the consoles are pretty much going to be on decline. I would even say the Switch is going to go on a decline because there's rumors of even a new Switch coming out. So everybody knows these consoles are right around the corner. And honest to tell you, this point in these consoles' life cycle, those that really wanted the console pretty much got it. So I don't see the numbers going up apart from maybe Black Friday. Obviously, the numbers will go up a little bit then, but that's pretty much it. We're close to next gen, and this is to be expected. These numbers don't surprise me, to be honest.
NASCAR Allo, Ace Ventura 3, Sonic Adventures. What? I don't know what that's a reference to. I know that creepy ass live action Sonic was revealed, and people are having nightmares and stuff. So
yeah, Jim Carrey's in the movie. So
is it really him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
he's
okay. I get it now, NASCAR Allo. I get it. Okay, we got to move forward. Shout out to almost 700 people watching this live, guys. Let's try to get to 300 likes for the end of the show, and 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. I got a gun to my head. I have to say that. Also, we're gonna get into the next topic real quick, just quickly on the Epic Game Store. A little update here for those that are watching. All the PC guys rip each other's hair out and whatnot. Epic Game Store Tim Sweeney says they'll stop with the exclusive deals if Steam simply matches their revenue share. Right now, Epic's deals are so appealing because they give you a percentage off. You don't have to pay them royalties if you use their engine, and they give you, what is it? They only take 12% as opposed to 30%, right, Zalker? So, yeah, they're saying, hey, Valve, match us. That's all you got to do, and developers will stop running to us. And that seems very, very like pro-consumer. I know Tim Sweeney's like, sometimes the dude's on some, Huff Pine Sol in the closet. I don't know what he does, but he says some weird things. Tim Dog, from what you know of Tim Sweeney, we all know he hates Microsoft. He's got this big thing about how Microsoft is going to take over gaming and their Windows Store is going to ruin everything. But he's kind of being more aggressive with his own Epic Store, right?
Yeah, he pretty much did what he was saying Microsoft was going to do. He actually just did it himself. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is pretty crazy. I think Epic is being really aggressive, and I think Steam can't just take this sitting down. They have to kind of combat this, because I see them every kind of release that they're getting exclusively, they're making money on it, and it's not like Windows Store where it's nobody will touch it. People with PC gamers are buying it. I guess they are appealing to some part of the community, and it is like a civil war. I mean, from all this that I've taken is that you really have PC. They always say they weren't fanboys, but they are pretty much Steam fanboys, and and that's the battle here. But yeah, I think Steam really has to take some kind of aggressive stance, because they are getting this is going to keep taking shots, and this guy Tim, he's I've talked to him on Twitter, and I've given him the benefit of that, and I have to say he is very passionate about it, and he will talk it out, and he feels how he feels. So I give him that credit, and he will engage with you. But they are going after Steam in a way that I don't think anybody could envision.
Well, it's like I said, if the PC gamers remember, that's actually good for them, because and developers as well, competition, right, Zalker?
I don't know. I kind of find this bullshit. I feel that he knows Steam isn't going to match it, and I think he's just saying it to get good PR. I mean, I don't know if you guys know that Steam on the 28th hit 1 billion accounts on their system.
Yeah, there's 600,000 cell phones.
Yeah, there's like
I mean, that's fine. But hey, that's a billion. Hey, that's a billion, but it's that's a big number. I think they still sell decently, but I do think that Steam does need to match it. I just don't think they will, because Steam has fuck you money, and I just don't think.
But for how long though? I mean, they've lost out on most all the big, massive titles.
I get that.
They are big. Metro and Borderlands 3.
But for the last 10 years to 13, 14 years, they've been the only guys that were selling games pretty much on PC.
Yeah,
so they had all that money.
That's like, when Pepsi passed Coke temporarily, right? Like there's always going to be a juggernaut in the first one there. But at the end of the day, it takes time, maybe a decade, but they're kind of digging their own grave. Like let's say Mr. Sweeney doesn't take. It's just fucking around. Sweeney. Good PR, right? And Valve says, no, we're not going to do it. They look like assholes. And at the end of the day, Epic looks like they're trying to get more for the developers, incentivizing more developers. Hey, we're for you. Come over here.
And Steam isn't going to die. Not in the next 10 years. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, D.
Now, D-Batch is a PC guy. What
do
you think?
I'll say this. The PC guys, they're behind Steam. Steam definitely isn't going to die anytime soon. I don't know why they're hating on the Epic Store so much. They need to look at the underlying reason why these developers are going there. If you're truly a supporter of games, then you got to be supportive of these developers that make the games for us. And these developers, they're not getting their full due on Steam, but they are on the Epic Store. And not only are they getting a discount on how much revenue Epic takes from them, but they're also getting a discount if they use their engine. So this is just great for gamers in general, because these studios will be able to give us better titles because they're making more money now. So it's competition. Is not a bad thing. Yeah, the Epic Store has some deficits. There's a lot of things that are missing in it that Steam doesn't have. But this outright hatred for the Epic Store right now, in my opinion, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's being driven by these doomsday drama channels is what it is. And oh my God, Epic should die. It's like, oh, stop.
Well, isn't it selling better too? Like, isn't World War Z selling like extremely well?
Yeah, it sold like well over 250,000. Yeah, in the first week.
All the titles that they brought to the Epic Store have sold better than they have on other platforms, and that's
Metro being one of them.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot better advertisement. And just us saying Epic right now, it's advertisement for them. And people say they hate it, but they're going over there and they're getting the games there. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're going anyway. That's the funny thing I wish I could see is like, but boycott, I'm going to wait 6 months to play Borderlands 3. Right.
What are you talking about, Cold Eastwood? I'll never download another launcher besides Origin, GOG, Uplay, and Steam and Windows, all that. No, not another one. I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, we're all about the games. We want to play the games, and we're just going to play the games. It's it's not. I mean, Soccer and I made great videos about that, but it's not like an Epic Games is like 65 instead of 60 or 62. It's like it's the same price.
Yeah,
you just have to suck it up. They need to get those features, and they should, just like the Xbox One at launch, they should have those features in place before they launch the launcher.
It's funny though, because it didn't start out that way. It started as, well, there's spyware. The Chinese are watching us through the Epic Store, and then that was debunked. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, they don't have chat rooms and forums, and I'm like, geez, really?
There's no Xbox Live Vision camera support.
Yeah. The one thing I can kind of understand, like, even though I'm not an achievement hunter, they say there's no achievements there. I can kind of understand that for some people. They like that stuff. So
Steam achievements are trash.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're not.
If you're a PC guy and you never messed around with the Xbox achievements, they are the ones who introduced them into gaming pretty much and made them mainstream. I think they do it right.
I've got some gems on Steam. I've got like 7 million gems, and I have nothing to do with.
I've got these sparkly glimmers. All right, go away, Timmy. So yeah, I'm the Epic Store thing. I don't give two shits. Like, D, you know how you fix your problem? Buy all your damn games on Xbox. There you go.
I guess in the chat they don't have a refund policy or a review system, and that is something that you would like to see.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and say there's no problem. There's things that they need to get fixed, and sure, gamers should voice their opinion, but this outright boycotting Epic, it's just a bunch of shit, man.
Obviously, they're not when the games are selling better. So nobody boycotting shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the games are doing fairly well. Borderlands 3 leak, real quick, Colt. What did you see and how did it happen?
Not much of anything. There was a leak of 26 seconds of a Borderlands character walking up to a chest and opening it up and kind of looking around. And
what did it look like? Give us the deets.
It's hard to explain. The game looks, gosh dang it, it looks like halfway photorealistic, halfway cell shaded. It looks really phenomenal. Like the guy had like a charcoal gray gun with like the colored and shiny ornaments on it or whatever. And he was turning and the lighting was going across that semi-matte finish on the gun, which was
it like a character opening up a chest and there was a USB drive in there?
Yeah. Gosh.
Anybody who knows the story, Randy Pitchford gets the joke.
Randy Pitchford just goes, Dash, come on, dealer.
That's where it is. Thanks.
I don't know how to explain it. Just looking at it, it looks cleaner. It looks more detail. The reflection on Borderlands 2 is like that fake, like chunky reflection. I don't know what the text called. Anyway, it just looks really good. So from what we saw from the gameplay trailers, didn't do it justice. I think what we're going to see in the next couple of days, I think it's May 4th, is going to look phenomenal. I'm really excited. And if you're a Borderlands fan, you're going to be really excited.
Albert Jean in the chat says Days Gone's the best-selling game so far this year. That is not accurate. That's in the UK, and I think it did take the number one. And UK is a very small territory. So if you're seeing this stuff on Twitter from little Sony fanboys, remember, those are the guys that said 80% sold on Sekiro versus Xbox, when in reality, it was the same UK statistic, and it was only counting physical, which PlayStation guys buy more of over Xbox. I mean, it was very skewed in a territory where it was 2-1 versus Xbox. So it should have been more. But at the end of the day, you gotta, if you're seeing these guys say that stuff, ask for a source and go in there and look at it, because usually they're talking UK numbers, specific types of the game, and blah, blah, blah.
LG Nemesis says it best: play games, not sales. That's my man.
We got Arman in the super chat says, will the Xbox Anaconda have a disk drive? I think it will.
Yeah,
I do believe it will. We know the PS5 will have a disk drive as well. So keep that in mind.
We already know that disk drive cost them like $20 because it didn't bring the SAT edition down very far. So, think about in 2020. Think about in 2020, guys. The PS5, the Lockhart, and the Anaconda. That UHD drive will be very cheap for those two companies to acquire and put in the machine. So
I remember one guy on Twitter
have UHD.
Say what?
Did PlayStation say they're going to have UHD drive in?
No,
PS5?
but I'm sure they will.
They better.
Well,
they fucking better.
It's funny this question's even brought up, but what people have to understand, they're seeing these consoles like the console that's coming out without the disc drive, the Xbox One SAT edition, and they're getting worried about future consoles. Right now, don't be worried about it, because if they were to bring out the Anaconda without a disc drive, they would be cutting a lot of their customers out of, buying the console, because there's a lot of people out there who just aren't going to go all digital.
It's so cheap, you might as well enable that,
Let's put it this way, Fonz. Back when they had the arcade edition of the Xbox 360 that didn't come with a hard drive or a wireless controller, that would be like using the logic like, oh man, the Xbox One, when it comes out, it's probably going to have a wire controller and no hard drive. It's the same mentality. Like they're doing a cheap alternative.
Yeah,
they're going to price it at $50 cheaper.
Yeah, I heard it's not going to have a disc drive, and they're going to give you the old Duke controller. That's what they're going to have.
Yeah, they're not going to have a graphics. They're not going to have a graphics processor either. So,
yeah, Tim, weigh in on this. What do you think about the disc drive? And
I think Anaconda for sure will have a UHD drive. Lockhart, I am not so sure. I think that's
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Something that this whole, we look at the Xbox ad and the whole thing that went on with that. I think that, and Brad Sams has said the same thing, that it could be a test run to see if people take to it. If people take to it and actually buy it, they're gonna. I think the Lockhart possibly could ship with no drive.
I mean, tell me, Tim. Like, doesn't it make perfect sense? The whole sole purpose of the Lockhart is give you a next gen gaming experience, new CPU, and all that stuff. Unlock that capability, but as at a cheapest price as possible, right? And to do that, to re-engineer that box from the ground up with no disk drive inside would really, really help with that goal. I mean, every little bit's going to help to get that price down to $250 or $300, hopefully day one, and the games will look better than the X for sure.
Right.
I mean, it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah, it does make sense, and the fact is that it's something that they can look and take a look at and say, hey, the sales have been good, and people have really taken to the digital, diskless Xbox One.
Xbox,
yeah. Yes. We can not include it. It's not something that has to be, researched. It's just an external, device. It's an external something that they can add or take out. Obviously, as they've shown with the Xbox One, said that they can do it. So they can do it with Lockhart too. So I think it's a wait and see type of thing. If they can get the price down, I think people would be happier with the price cheaper than to have the disc, to be honest.
Yes, Other Zinc, you are late, sir. There's a lot of consoles out there, but you guys got to remember that these older ones, like the original Xbox One and the original PS4, will be phased out. So the Xbox One X is gonna disappear. You're gonna buy a Lockhart instead. The games look better on it, even if it's slower on the GPU side. All around, it's more capable, more well-rounded. The games will look better. So just keep that in mind. You're not gonna have a whole stack of consoles on the shelves. Retailers don't like that either. They don't like wasting all their store shelf on a bunch of different models of the same thing. So yeah, I think a lot of that stuff will get phased out as well. Well said, Tim. D-Batch, I'm gonna give you the floor for a minute here, because you got some guys that don't really know, and this is funny because I tweeted this out. You got guys that don't really know anything about tech. They've been wrong a million times in the past, and they really don't know about the stuff in general. But they're gonna go out and say that, well, I know that PS5 is gonna have hardware accelerated ray tracing, and the Xbox is gonna have emulated ray tracing, which is possible. But and as I've said forever ago, me and D were talking about this shit 8 months ago. Ray tracing will be in these consoles, believe it or not. And we're not saying it's going to be better in PC. We're going to say it's going to be a custom rudimentary form that may not be as high a fidelity or a high of a rasterization quality, but it will be there. It will be more efficient, and it will make games look better. Ray tracing is lighting. At the end of the day, it's going to help the lighting system of the entire game. So it's going to help a lot. Lighting's massive. At the end of the day, some of these guys are acting like PlayStation 5 is going to have this stuff accelerated by the GPU. Xbox 2 will not. D, you were kind of debating with a guy that doesn't know anything about this stuff. And I even tweeted about this stuff, and Mike Ybarra replied to my tweet, said, ha, he's just laughing because some people are just so ignorant about this stuff.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on all this stuff? And
Well, first of all, a lot of people on Twitter are running with that PlayStation 5 is gonna have hardware accelerated ray tracing. Now, I'm not here to say it's gonna or it will or will not. I can say this much: it has not been confirmed so far. Okay,
does it matter though, D? I mean, I didn't think graphics and power mattered anymore.
Well, apparently power now matters again. I guess power matters when it's on your side.
Power, get off the bench, you're in.
But it's unbelievable some of the things that these people say, and a lot of people are so misinformed out there that they take these people saying these things as fact when they're not.
They're listening to like some guy on a.
Now, I do think the PlayStation 5 will be doing ray tracing. It's kind of obvious at this point.
Of course.
Will it be software? Will it be hardware? I don't know. I'm not confident enough to bank on that because we don't really know what's going to be inside of Navi. All I can say is that it hasn't been confirmed. But these same people want to go ahead and say that the next Xbox is not going to have any type of hardware accelerated ray tracing. It's just going to be software only. So my rebuttal to that is basically Microsoft right now. The reason why ray tracing is not a new thing. Microsoft didn't invent ray tracing. However, the reason that we have ray tracing implemented on games right now or on these graphic cards by NVIDIA is because of DX12 and DirectX ray tracing, which of course is Microsoft's doing. Microsoft has partnered up with NVIDIA to bring ray tracing to the PC. So
they've had the API for it for well over a year at this point.
Exactly. So please tell me why you think that Microsoft wouldn't be concentrating on ray tracing on their next generation Xbox. It just doesn't make sense. We have so many outlets pretty much confirming the rumor that the next generation Xbox is going to be more powerful than what Sony is going to have to offer. And I'm going to go ahead and say that would probably include ray tracing as well. I think it's just going to be a much more capable system. Microsoft, at the end of the day, is a software company. And I think ray tracing is going to be a big thing on the next generation Xbox device. I think it'll be there on the PlayStation 2. But if I had to hedge my bets on which system will be more capable of that technology, it most definitely would be Xbox.
Well, somebody just heard you say that, and they're like, D. Basher said the PlayStation 2 is getting ray tracing. They're giving an update to the PS2. Yeah. It's going to get ray tracing.
PlayStation also.
Hey, Tim Dog. So, I mean, the quote was literally the more advanced console. Like, it's going to be more advanced than the PS5 by a noticeable degree. And we know who those sources are. There are multiple sources that are corroborating, right? And it's coming from very reliable people, multiple. I don't know, man. What do we don't you know? Pretty much by now, it seems like Xbox Anaconda is definitely going to be faster.
I would say, barring a completely change of direction, yes, unless something happened that was unforeseen. I was basically, offhandedly told that it was going to be that, and the document that you saw and Clobrill has he summarized it on his Twitter. Go check that out. They are gunning to be the most powerful. They 100% want to take that. And as far as ray tracing, I had asked Phil a question in 2018, right after GDC, and he basically confirmed that it's there. It's going to be next generation consoles. It's a tweet that I made to him. You can find it. Plus, I've heard through the grapevine, their ray tracing. I'm assuming that it's going to be the same as Sony, or it might be a little bit different. But I think Anaconda is going to, for the most part, be the more powerful. But I do think that the price will be different. I don't think that they're going to be the same price. No. And if it is, then there's going to be that'll be a big thing for Xbox. But I could see the prices being different. You're going to pay for the power if you want.
Hey, Tim, I just want to ask you real quick. Are you hearing the same things that the PlayStation 5 is going to be around $400? That it's going to be,
Well, I mean, Brad Sam summarized that he thinks that. I just look at the specs on what they're thinking about. If it's going to be $400, then that original leak that originally came out for it, being that it's going to be, I think they said it was going to be 8 teraflops or 10 teraflops, and Anaconda would be 12. Could be true. I mean, I think 2 teraflop difference could be the $100 difference that we're talking about, but I don't know. That $399 is pretty good price point if they can hit it with those specs. In my opinion.
I'll kill the PS5 $500 argument right here. If you truly believe that the PS5 is going to be $500, then you believe that the Xbox Anaconda is going to be $600. And if you believe that Microsoft's going to put out a $600 console, no way. I I think Brad Sams is right. I think the PS5 is going to be $400, and the Lockhart is going to be $300 or $350, and the Anaconda is going to be $500.
And that was Eternal Shadow in the Super Chat's question, and we've been saying this before. Brad Sams was even around. Shout out to Brad. He was on a couple shows ago. But yeah, that's how common sense is, right?
Yeah.
That PlayStation is going to try to follow their $399, and maybe they won't this time around. You never know. I'm not going to lock anything down, but if what we're hearing about the Anaconda is true, most likely it'll be a 2020 $500 system as opposed to a 2017 $500 system. Keep in mind what they did in 4 years with the Xbox One X. In 2013, it's 1.3 teraflops, 8 gigs of DDR3, and a regular Blu-ray drive. And you go up to 2017 in just 4 years, you over quadruple the power, nearly 5 times the power in the Xbox One X in just 4 years with a 4K Blu-ray drive, 12 gigs of DDR5. And, that's a monstrous leap in 4 years for the same price you just bought a regular Xbox One Fat for. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, let me put it even more simply without using like the tech stuff. Dealer says that GDDR thing so fast, I always fall over those letters. Think about
I think they got it, though.
Yeah, think about PS4 Pro in 2016 doing half 4K. And then in 2020, 4 years later, and this is what Dealer was just saying, think about it doing closer to full native 4K on most games. Like that is for the same price, $400. That's pretty easy to believe.
And the big story that performance, as we've been talking about as well. But yeah, I do think Brad Sams is definitely right there with it. And we'll see if Anaconda is faster, which they could very well implement some kind of custom cores and that GPU to do particular things. And people say they don't really go that far. Well, they did ESRAM just for the console. There's still not an APU on the PC side that has 6 teraflops. I mean, think about it. They do a lot of custom things with these consoles. The friendly neighborhood Blue Shell says, for my weekly fraud alert, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Nice Batman picture, by the way.
I would even take it a step further, and I would not be surprised if Microsoft had some type of hardware in there to work with their API, to work with DX12, to work with DXR. So I'm expecting big things out of the next generation console. Microsoft has to hit it up the park, and just the fact that they're, at the end of the day, they're a software company, I'm quite confident in what they're going to do with ray tracing, and
I am curious as to how they're going to cool this next box. I think that's one of the most interesting things to me, and that's the cool thing about a premium version. Is they can actually afford to do little things like that. So
I'll say this though, it just being 7 nanometer alone is going to make it a lot easier to cool.
But it's going to be running at a much higher frequency as well.
This just in, I got a text from the PC community. They said this is all snake oil. Buy a PC for $2,000 instead.
And then we're like, yeah, I got a Threadripper for 2080, and they're like, oh, that's way better than mine. Never mind.
Just send them an Epic's game picture and watch them yell at you.
But yeah, I mean, we kind of been going on about this, but hey, we gotta give a shout out to almost 800 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get it to 300. We're almost there. The little thumb underneath the title, finger bang that until it's blue. And we do appreciate it. Let's try to get to 300. If you're watching now, 1,000 after the fact. Maybe share this where you share things. We've got a developer, and we've got another really cool topic after this. This is one I'm really excited about. But while we're on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2 stuff, a developer by the name of Frederick Schreiner, VP of 3D Realms, says Sony and Microsoft's next console will exceed Stadia by far. So if Stadia, and keep in mind, this is just a developer of a smaller studio. But if Sony and Microsoft are going to go ahead and exceed Stadia, that's 10.7 teraflops, essentially a Vega 56 on a server rack, right? Mm-hmm. That's still really interesting to me, Tim Dog. I mean, do you think that's even the PlayStation is going to have above almost 11 teraflops?
I don't know about PlayStation. I think Xbox will definitely be above 10.7. So I don't know about PlayStation because, like I said, if they're going to hit that $399 spot, I think they could be lower on the teraflop side. It could be that Xbox has more cooling, like you talked about cooling. They could have state-of-the-art cooling. That they're kind of the same chips, but Xbox is faster, so you can get more teraflops. And the way they cool that down is through cooling, solution. So I don't know about the PlayStation. Jason Shearer, that guy from Kotaku I'm not a big fan of, but he does know what he knows, says that they're both going to be over 10.7. This is all guesses, is my opinion. I don't think that this developer knows anything more than what we know. But I do think Xbox Anaconda will be more powerful, but I don't know about PlayStation.
Does he have a developer kit for PS5?
He did say that the next consoles are going to offer a lot of really amazing stuff as well.
You sure he wasn't briefed? Or he wasn't briefed on the consoles? It seems like a couple people have been briefed on it.
Shut up. It could be.
Some people wear briefs. Some people wear boxers. Does he get a problem with that?
But I always see it's always like a low developer. If it was like a Rockstar developer, I would kind of maybe give it more credence. But I'm just myself. I always have trepidation with that type of stuff. I just have to wait and see. Even with all the stuff that's going on. Other than what I've seen and what I've been told, it's all up in the air. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm hoping that at E3 we can get some type of real concrete answers on this stuff, because we'll just be talking about it every week.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a lot of stuff to kind of unpack here. Shelf Sucker in the super chat says, "Wish I could be on the show with you to tell you why PS4 is doing better." And a lot of country, I'm guessing English isn't his first language, but hey, we get all kinds of people that watch the show. Thank you so much. Yeah, we actually know why the PS4 is doing better, bud. No one needs to tell us anything. We've talked about it over and over. They've had some stellar games here lately. And of course, they've always had the leg up by being more powerful and $100 cheaper at launch with none of the DRM stigma, even though they did confirm that their console will block used games. It's up to the developers. Shuhei did an interview himself saying that. They just decided not to talk about that publicly, and they saw the backlash and never brought it up, which is really smart of them. But thank you so much, Shelf Saka. We do appreciate it. We've got Tori in the super chat, just here to support the culture. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. And we've also got Elemento Pio panel. Do you think the majority of games running with ray tracing on next-gen consoles will have to cap at 30 FPS? I do not think that. I think that a lot of games will be able to do 4K 60 FPS on the next consoles, somewhere in between here or there, and they'll be able to actually probably take a 20 FPS deficit, which is, I'd say probably that's a good chunk to resolution. They could just give you an option, maybe say 1440p mode with ray tracing, keep it at 60 FPS. That would be ideal.
How do you think a game like Odyssey would do on the next gen consoles? Let's say the Anaconda.
That's the most demanding game I own on PC, and I did actually buy it on PC as well, even though I haven't really played it there. That game on a 2080 is 1440p Ultra. It'll do above 60, but if you want to lock 60, I recommend 1440 and a 2080. It's very demanding, probably more demanding than it should be. But
I'm just wondering if we're going to be able to see 60 frames.
You could easily see that game at 60 FPS in the next systems. Okay. Yes,
because even if I had to play at 1080 at Ultra, I would do so.
Yeah, and you might be able to do better than that. Yeah.
What excites me most about these consoles, the upcoming consoles, is the fact that I'm playing the X, and I'm so shocked at some of the graphics that we get with that console. It really impresses me, man. Like right now, I'm playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And it's very impressive looking. It really is. And if I could just hit that, 60 frame mark on a game like Odyssey, that would just be amazing to me. It would blow my mind.
Yeah. And you can get those kind of, I'll call them PC type experiences. Like if you play Wolfenstein 2 on the X, that's like a top tier PC experience to me. If you've seen the PC version, it looks phenomenal. You can get that kind of stuff, man. Zen 2 in there as well. Like no problem hitting 60 FPS. GPU would be on the bottleneck, not the CPU. You'd probably have to lower the resolution to get there, but that's no problem. I'll take it all the time.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick here, but I got another text from the PC gaming community, and they just told me that if I want 60 frames, buy a $2,000 PC.
Hey, shout out to Solid Rev. He was talking about how his $1,400 PC doesn't look as good with AC Odyssey as his Xbox One X.
Yeah, he has the same build as me. He's got the Ryzen 2700X, GTX 1070. Yeah, his is. Mine was about 1200. Did you say this is 1400?
Yeah,
and he was having a hard time getting holding 60 frames on it.
Which he shouldn't have. I don't know if it's an issue with the build there or what, but that 2700X can run any game at 60 FPS, I would imagine. No problem.
Yeah, but he was trying to go 4K and 60. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're not getting close on Odyssey. Yeah.
But it's nuts. I mean, when you play Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Origins on the X, like that game runs 90% of 4K and holds 30 like almost in the entire time. And I know that's a big difference in frame rate, but it's pretty amazing what a $500 console does. I mean, we're in for a good show next gen.
I just want to say about next gen. When these developers know that, every system's going to have an 8-core CPU in it, they can optimize for that. And I don't think we would have a situation where Odyssey ran so poorly because, the base systems would be a lot more powerful and they could,
Well, every system now has an 8-core CPU.
Yeah, but they're come on.
They're trash. Yeah, I mean, it's 2 mobile processors strapped together with duct tape. Yeah. Let's see here. Element of PO again. Do you think an Anaconda bundle could bring up the price point? I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm sure they'll have bundles, but usually they give you a game for free or something if you're buying a bundle. Maybe they could have controllers or something. I don't know, brother. Good question though.
They might throw in like Sea of Thieves for you.
That or Forza Horizon 3, right? Some guy was like, I'm sure dealer's still stung from that Xbox Sad Edition price. I'm like, idiot, I hammered it for 3 minutes in a video. Like, you guys don't watch anything, and you just listen to these morons tell you what we said, and you don't watch anything.
You listen to people that talk about what they saw on our video.
Like, you didn't watch anything. You just sound like an idiot. You get asked for a link, and you don't have one because you sound stupid.
I got a great comment today. Someone said, hey, I watched your Days Gone review, and I'm really surprised you didn't trash the game the whole time. And I said, why would I trash it? I don't trash PlayStation the whole time. He goes, well, I heard a lot about your channel, and I've always avoided watching your videos, and I saw this. I'm like, dang, this is not what I expected. I'm like, geez, that's too bad.
Honestly, from like some of the comments I see you get, I expect that. That's the stuff I expected. People just don't view what you guys actually do on your channel. I said,
well, I think the problem is this generation is created on both sides. I mean, Xbox guys do it and PlayStation guys do it. They've created this absolute, like where there's a black or white, like they draw a line. Either you like Xbox and you hate PlayStation or vice versa. And they expect that, like, people jump into Dealer's podcast here, RDX, and the first thing to do is hit thumbs down and leave. Like it's I mean, it's funny.
They jump in the comments, throw a fucking smoke bomb at the ground. Yeah, rolled off.
But I'm super glad that like people come in here and talk in the chat, and like they'll argue a little bit, and they get a chance to listen, and then they kind of gain a little bit of respect. Like, oh, these guys are talking about gaming. They like what they like, and it just helps out.
That's all right. I mean, the chat and all the people that support this show.
They're amazing.
I mean, no matter how many people want to lie and spread misinformation about what we've said, so many people see this show, just this one show, which is a fraction of how many people actually watch the videos, a fraction of a fraction, that it overruns all of those other guys combined. So it's not really a big deal.
It's not kissing ass here either at all, but I got to say, Colt and Dealer's videos, I mean, the production you guys put into those videos are amazing. So they're missing out. So
no, they're trash. Our videos, anyone could do it. They just need 30 more minutes. Noof Nukem. Noof Nukem said, this is the best podcast that doesn't have Noof Nukem. Kaboom! Shout out to you, brother. If you're still doing a show after the show, if you let us know. Noof will be live right after us, and we end whenever the topics and kind of when we feel that it should end. Really, rarely does it last 2 hours. We've got Shelf Sucker in the super chat again. I'm still here, and Dealer just did not want to read my comment in the last super chat. Just here for the support. I did read it. Honestly, we know why PS4 is doing well. We've given it props time and time again. 100 million consoles out there. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's doing well. Also, I got so many of these to catch up on. George Driver, thank you so much in the super chat. Sometimes I miss these guys because it's such a ridiculous chat. Rumple Foreskin, of course, Rumple Foreskin's here. Thank you so much, Rumple Foreskin. We do appreciate it. We've also got Shoguns. Thank you. He says, cheers, beer, beer, beer. And maybe that's all. I'm scrolling down. No, it's not all. Are you guys going to buy the Xbox too? Really, Eli? Really, Eli? You asking that question? Of course I'm buying the next Xbox.
Why? It ain't got no games.
Ain't no games, but I'm just going to look at it and play Netflix at 8K, 120 FPS.
No, I'm the PS5, but it has backwards compatible, so maybe, fuck, I don't know.
No, I'm going to go ahead and buy a PC for $2,000.
Might as well.
Like Fawn sounds like he's picking a category at Jeopardy. I'll take PC for $2,000.
Z Black Rider said, "Is Mama Sue coming to E3?" I don't know who that is. Anybody here know who that is?
Who?
Mama
Lisa
Sue.
Sue. Lisa Sue.
Oh, Lisa Sue. I don't know. I do like Lisa Sue though. She knows what she's doing, man.
She might be, because at CES when Phil came on the stage, they did say that they have something to announce later on.
What was it that Phil? Because some people here might not know that Phil actually went to CES and was up on stage with the AMD CEO.
Yeah. So basically, well, they were on launching Radeon 7, but he was on stage and he was talking about their partnership. And long story short, they basically said that later on this year they're going to have something to announce. And then he went on to do a speech about inclusion in gaming and whatnot.
He's like, I'm gonna have this trash ass Radeon in my Xbox. Is that what he said? I don't know. I've owned AMD cards and Nvidia cards. I think they're both good for what they are. And AMD are dominating by the dollar right now, I would say. Well, for things like the 580.
I have a Radeon 7 in my rig. I'm not going to get too technical, but it's really good. It's surpassing a 2080 the way I have mine set up, so I'm quite happy with it. And
you got liquid cooling and some guy there with the fan and all the good works. Hey, someone known as just simply P, the letter P, says, question for the show. Thoughts on the rumored Crytek acquisition?
Yes.
Well, that is our last topic, and there's more than just Crytek on the table here, because hey, they're doing it big. The rumor is 20 by 20, right, Tim Donk? So I'll let you kind of lead this one after I read this off. But right now, as of right now, there's a rumor that at E3, and Phil has kind of hinted to this recently, that they'll have more announcements, but 3 new studios are to be announced, and that will be Crytek, the guys who made Rise, Son of Rome, Crytek, Crysis, and more, IO Interactive, and Relic Entertainment, the guys who do strategy games, RTS games. That's big for us RTS fans. Tim Dog, what do you think about this, the validity of it, and how likely do you think it is?
I think that Relic is something that's going to happen. I also think IO is going to happen. Crytek, I don't know. I think that this person who ever did this from the insider, or whether I say Xbox insider community, kind of put that in there. That's probably a guess. I don't see Crytek being purchased, even though it would be awesome. No. But I don't see that. I see Relic. What I've heard about on the inside through some people is that Xbox wants to have a dedicated studio for Age of Empires.
Xbox is trash.
Which is one of their prized IP, and they want to have. They were originally thinking about building an internal studio similar to Initiative to handle it. But I think that's where Relic comes in. So Relic is, in my opinion, going to happen. And IO just makes too much sense,
Hitman 2 didn't do the greatest. I mean, if they did buy IO, and let us know if you agree in the chat, I would want to see them do something else than Hitman, because Hitman is not it's just not, it's
not a crazy seller.
Yeah. I'd like to see what else that team can do.
This is all just rumor, right? Because I heard a rumor of 3 other developers. I heard it was Konami, Tiger Electronics, and Zynga.
Konami.
God dang it, Fonz. Man, you
Google,
never
right?
let Fonz talk.
But here's the thing, Fonz. These have been actually rumored and talked about by some pretty good sources in the past. And all 3 of these teams they make financial sense. None of them are on fire right now.
Yeah, but do you remember Tiger Electronics in the 80s with those little handhelds?
They're bringing back the Xbox handhelds?
Oh, man.
Hey,
touch buttons.
And let me get this super chat real quick. Shelf Sucker, HDMI 2.1 enabled for Xbox One X, or is that for the future? D-Batch, go ahead and sum that up real quick while I scroll down.
Sorry, what's the question?
HDMI 2.1 enabled for the Xbox One X, ? Or is that for the future?
So the Xbox One X does have some HDMI 2.1 features, but to my understanding, it's not the full feature set. So it doesn't have the full, I believe, 48 gigabyte per second bandwidth. So it has some features, but not all of it. But the next generation Xbox and PlayStation, they'll have full HDMI 2.1 specification on it. And to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter too much on the Xbox One X right now at this moment anyways, because let's be honest,
you're not seeing those. Yeah.
You're not getting, we wish to get 60 frames per second as the norm on that console, but it's not. It's more, 30 frames per second. Some occasional games are 60 frames per second, where that HDMI 2.1 wouldn't even come into use, because you're not going to see it until you start going beyond 60 frames per second, like 120 frames per second, 100 frames per second. That's where the HDMI 2.1 bandwidth, and the specifications, all the shit that comes with it, comes in handy. So, and there's not too much dynamic HDR10 content right now, so I don't think it's too much of a problem right now. But next generation
HDR is a gimmick anyway, right? So
I saw
L after L.
I don't know how people can think HDR. First of all, you're seeing, without HDR, you're seeing 16 million colors. With HDR, you're seeing a billion colors. Okay?
Basically, you turn into a fish man, is what you're saying.
Like it's completely different. Like it's almost like doing the jump from black and white to color. Maybe not as drastic.
No,
but just think of it this way: in real life, we see in high dynamic range, and we're limiting the color in games that don't have HDR. Now, when HDR is applied, it's basically how we see things in real life. We're almost there, because of course we're not the full color gamut. I'm not going to get all technical, but it's closer to real life.
Now hang on. I had to put out something out there for a lot of people, and this is why some of them think it's a gimmick, or some of them are just frauds and play on a 1440p monitor with no HDR. Basically, a lot of people are on like Samsung 6 series TVs, and the box says HDR, and it doesn't really have HDR. And that's when I was first learning about TVs. I mean, that's something that I had to deal with. Like, what's going on with the marketing? How is this legal? It's not bright enough. It's half as bright for an LED panel to even support something like that. It doesn't have wide color gamut, but they still say it has HDR. I think that should be illegal. It's false advertising.
It's not just the brightness as well. It's also the color gamut. Most of those older TVs do not have that wide color gamut. So, if you're playing on a monitor that's 1440p with no HDR, that's sad on you. But the thing is when you say HDR is a gimmick, you're basically saying, well, I don't like to see stuff that looks like real life, because it is more accurate.
And it's like, why'd you spend all that money on that graphics card and you don't like your games to look better?
Yeah, I just think it's silly. I mean, you want to talk gimmicks, you can throw 3D or whatever in there, but not HDR, man.
Yeah, but the input lag, I can't deal with the input lag because I'm in a $14 million tournament. Well, yeah, it's like, oh gosh.
Hey, do you see Elemento Pio's super chat about Final Fantasy? Maybe that's up your realm on the PC thing there. I don't know about that.
No, I didn't see. You want to read out to me? Sorry, I'm not on.
He says, any Final Fantasy fans right out here now? Final Fantasy 15 at 60 FPS on the X for the first time ever. No other platform, including PC, has that option. I don't know. I don't know about the PC version of that game. No, I'm not a Final Fantasy fan.
No, I was telling you, I'm not a Final Fantasy fan either. I haven't played it, so I wouldn't really know too much about that. But if it is true, if it does have a 60 frames per second option on the X, that's fantastic, man. 60 frames.
It's not 60 FPS. I mean, it hovers in between. It's a fucking mess. So
yeah,
but if you have VRR, I think variable refresh rate, if the game supports it, I think you can actually use that.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference because you don't feel those drops, and it's just buttery smooth. But that game, I remember watching it when it came out. It was horribly optimized. It was even tanking on PCs. The tessellation was set really high, and it was tessellating things that didn't even need to tessellate. That weren't even
so many testiculations. Hey, we got to get to the next subject. We've been on this one for a minute, but I mean, we are on the next subject. But I mean, Tim Dog, you think this is probably going to happen? Probably being an announcement. I think there's a high likelihood of some of these studios on this list being an announcement as well, at least eventually. Zalker, what is your take on this, bud?
I think that a lot of Xbox people have been flirting around with acquisitions. I think a lot of insiders have been flirting around with acquisitions, Blue Point's being one of them. And, there's Platinum Games, all these studios. And at this point, I just feel like anyone's it's like watching Game of Thrones. Anybody could fucking die. I feel like anybody can get acquired, basically. That's what I think. And it's just, I don't know what they're going to announce. Crytek would be awesome because I personally love Rise, Son of Rome. Yeah. I want to see a sequel. I really do. It's one of my favorite new IPs this generation. IO, again, makes a lot of sense, like we said. And Relic, I mean, me and Dealer are huge strategy fans. Just fucking get them. I don't care what you have to do. Pay them whatever you want. Just get them. I've said in my videos that
just make sure none of their games come to Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, none, not one.
People are still freaking out about Gears Tactics. Others are creating drama out of it, acting like it's a big, massive thing with the community. Gears Tactics is coming to Xbox. It's a matter of time, from what I'm told. So,
and they want to make it. and they want to like strategy games for one need to be very well supported on the keyboard and mouse. I know people don't like hearing that, it's the word, but come on, it's just fine. It's they're going to optimize it for PC and then port
Keyboard
it to
mouse
Xbox.
is trash.
Yeah, you like girls and shit. Yeah, I mean, but these three acquisitions make a lot of sense, especially with like the financials. Like every studio they've gone after has kind of been like waning, like, we're trying to keep the fucking lights on, Billy. Like that's how they sound. Like honestly,
Billy, pedal faster, the lights are dimming.
Run, get the fucking hamsters. So like they just, I don't know. I think Crytek makes a lot of sense, but also wasn't there a lot of feud between them? Like they had Crytek and Xbox had a pretty bad falling out.
Is that the
after
case,
Rise.
Tim? Though?
Yeah, that was at the end of Rise. They had a kind of a falling out.
What caused that?
I think honestly, I think the way Rise was perceived. I mean, I felt that Rise was a better game. I mean, it did score 61 Metacritic. It did have its issues, but I felt like they thought the game should have been better received.
How is that Xbox's fault?
I just think it was just, it was one of those things where they were attached to Xbox at a time where the brand kind of was toxic in a way. And I think that they kind of helped. This is just my opinion. This is this is not what I even heard. But I did hear that they had falling out and, they made comments about the Xbox being underpowered and, what they had to deal with and work with that. I don't think, though, that those issues back in 2013 are anything of note now. I think that they're pretty much past. I know that they tried to
that, and they've hit rock bottom. Like they went there,
right?
They couldn't pay employees, and
they've had a lot of issues. They've had a lot of issues, and some say that you shouldn't even bother. They also sold their engine to Amazon, which I do think if they still had that might be something that Microsoft would have been more interested in.
So if Microsoft did acquire them, they are just looking for the workforce.
Yeah, and probably IPs because the Xbox wanted Rise and went to Crytek and said, "Can we have Rise 2? We want to make it," and they said no, and they wouldn't sell it.
And Rise 2 has such. I mean, if you didn't play Rise, for one, if you like the Batman combat, it's kind of like that, but they swap the buttons around for some reason. If you're going to steal Batman combat, you might as well just go all the way. But the sequel had so much potential compared to something like Sunset Overdrive 2 or Quantum Break, like Rise 2 with customization and all the stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff they could do to that game and maybe go to different parts in time. I mean,
I'll play it. I'll definitely play it when they get an X enhancement on that game because I haven't even tried it. And
they're not getting an X enhancement for that. Bitch, I doubt it.
From what I heard, though, I mean, this game basically, was copied by every other game out there. So I've got to play it.
Tim, I just want to ask.
I'm just such a fucking troll.
No, I heard God of War copied it. So I need to play it. God of War is amazing.
Hey, dealer, I got to take off, but it's been a really good show. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man.
Cool.
We'll see you next week, Fraud.
Hey, Tim, I ask you real quick.
You lack the juice.
You lack the sauce.
It's still property of Crytek, correct?
Say that again.
The CryEngine is still property of Crytek, right?
I believe they sold it to Amazon, but
I'm not to Amazon. Really?
Yeah, I believe they sold Crytek to Amazon.
Oh, so disappointed.
I'm gonna look that up right now, but
that was the sole reason why I wanted Microsoft. I've been lobbying for this for years. It's the sole reason why I wanted Microsoft to acquire them was for their engine. I feel like their engines are top notch. Their game development, it's questionable. Their level designs, all that stuff is a little bit questionable at times. But the technology behind what they do is simply amazing. It's stunning. It's like photorealistic. They've been ahead for years, and that's my reason why I want Microsoft to buy
that engine though on console has never done a system justice though.
True, but next generation, when we're not faced with this power deficit in their balanced system, if Microsoft were to purchase them or purchase the CryEngine, they could really apply that to their first party games the way that they did with the Unreal Engine in the Xbox 360 generation.
Well, maybe we'll see more using the Slipspace engine.
It wasn't sold to them, by the way. According to various anonymous reports, in April 2015, CryEngine was licensed to Amazon for $50 to $70 million. Consequently, in February of 2016, Amazon released its own reworked and extended version of CryEngine under the name Amazon Lumberyard.
That's what it was. Okay. Horrible name, Amazon.
Yeah.
So I get the confusion there. But in either case, I mean, even if they get the engine, if they don't, I mean, Microsoft, they're looking to kind of get their own custom stuff out there. Dub says, hey, what's up, dealer? Question. What are your thoughts about Jedi Fallen Order? That's the game, right? From what I hear, I mean, it's supposed to focus on melee. The stormtroopers are supposed to die in one hit finally. Yeah, I mean, it's story driven. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to bring there. Thanks for the question, Dubs. Looks good. It's probably going to be the best Star Wars game in quite some time, which isn't that hard to do, unfortunately.
Yesterday, the Raptors played the 76.
Sorry. Well, hey, I got to give a shout out to still well over 700 people watching, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 400 likes now. We would appreciate it. Over 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. We're almost there. We do appreciate it. Maybe share this. We share things. That's our time. That's our topics. We are working on maybe having some pretty cool guests on in the future. So kind of keep your eyes peeled. You never know who will pop in or who won't. I mean, last time when Mike Navar jumped in the show, I mean, we obviously, he just jumped in. Brad Sams was in that same show. We didn't announce that either before the show. So you just never know. It's going to happen. It might not happen. But at the end of the day, we are able to kind of reach out and kind of get some cooler people on the show going forward. We do want to thank you guys. You're the reason that's even a possibility. Malaka. That's true. And Salty's Gaming, what's going on, brother? Timothy Clark, Extreme D, you got a doppelganger. Yep, you got a doppelganger in there. Extreme. Told you. Hey, but yeah, that's our time, guys. We're gonna do some outros. Fraud Eastwood left the podcast already, so check him out. Zocker87, brother, what's been going on? What have you been playing, and where can people find you?
I've been playing nothing but basically Days Gone and a little bit of Apex. That's it. Yeah, I've been enjoying Days Gone here and there. I do have a lot of problems with the game. Review will come out tomorrow. That's what I've been playing. I've been hanging out with you guys, and yeah. Oh, and Avengers and Game of Thrones. That's all. Like, I'm emotionally fucking drained over here from that weekend of amazingness.
He's been crying all weekend.
I have.
Yeah. D-Batch, what have you been playing or benchmarking? Where can people find you?
I've been playing a lot of Days Gone, and I'm enjoying the game. I can't wait to get off this podcast actually to go play it. You guys can catch me on Twitter at D_batch and at YouTube at DBatch. And check out my last video. I actually recorded some 4K-ish, I guess, because they're using checkerboarded Days Gone footage with HDR. So if you guys want to see what the game looks like in HDR, check out my video.
Nice.
We've also got Fonzarelli. What have you been playing? Where can people find you, bud?
Shadow of the Tomb Raiders, what I've been playing. They can find me at jfonzarelli right here on YouTube and Twitter. And check out my latest video about the situation with Cox Cable and all that stuff with gamers and trying to charge more and all that good stuff or bad stuff. And also Fight Culture Podcast right here on YouTube every Sunday, 1 p.m. West Coast time. Aside from that, I want to thank the chat. They've been awesome.
Yeah. How are you liking Shadow?
I'm liking it. It's not my favorite, but I'm liking it. I'm really having Odyssey withdrawal, to be honest. I'm not kidding. Like, I need another big open world game like that.
Yeah, it's great. Gamer by choice, awesome show, guys. Thank you so much, brother. We've also got Tim Dog, man. How you been? Where can people find you? And what have you been playing?
I'm on Twitter, Beastfire Tim Dog. I also do another podcast, Xbox Roundtable. It's 9 p.m. on Sunday. I've been playing Mortal Kombat 11, which I highly recommend. I really think it's an awesome game.
It looks good, don't it?
Yeah, I finished the story mode, which I have to say was awesome, and I'm on the towers now. And like Zorker, I want to try this SOT and give it a little time. I was going to wake up and try to do it this morning, but I had a migraine, and I get ready for this show. So I'm looking forward to trying that. It looks really good.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat looks insane. Actually, I used yesterday's video. I used Mortal Kombat footage. Shelf Sucker, best podcast, Heart. We do appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Like I said, we're always trying to keep the energy up. Some weeks are better than others, but if you guys show up, it's always that much better for us. We want to say that. Also, giving away a copy of the $100 edition of Mortal Kombat 11 on Patreon. If you're not a patron, consider it. Link down below. We got tiers for people that want games. We got tiers for people that need help with YouTube-related things, podcast-related things, anything. I help a lot of people around the community. Check that stuff out down below. And thank you guys for rocking out with us. We are out.
Peace.
Oh, and by the way, be sure to catch my next video. I'm going to give it a lowdown on Days Gone. 100%, unlike Zocker.
Oh, I'll give you the lowdown, and I won't be biased. Like this little survival horror over here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for checking us out. We're out.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Take care.
I'll catch that video twice.
I signed out twice.